Hello, my name's Mark Hobart. I'm a catastrophist and a professor of doom. Together with my friend Cola here, we will present the public service announcement number 1, an approaching catastrophe Y2K38. This is an essential concepts video series, and there's a summary of it, and the essential concept here is black swans. Too often we forget or we ignore remote possibilities in policy formation. Catastrophes, for example. Remote probabilities are like black swans. Indeed, there's a book out by it that would be worth reading. Black swans were considered to be remote possibilities. In fact, they were impossible back in the days of Rome, and Latin philosophers said they didn't exist. And so it was a colloquial expression. It's like a black swan. And then lo and behold, and this carried right up into the Middle Ages, and then lo and behold, the Dutch explorers found them in Australia in 1697. They were real. They actually existed. And that's the way it is with catastrophes. The catastrophes are always a surprise. Here's some books about the black swan and about catastrophic events, global catastrophic risks, catastrophe, by federal appellate judge Richard Posner, about how policy should be developed and weighed in his book Catastrophe, 2004. Y2K was a catastrophe waiting to happen. There was a software design flaw where, in order to save money, programmers, software designers were using 2-digit fields for the year. So 1995 was stored as 95, and when a date was needed, there was a pre-formatted document with 19 blank, and the computer would simply complete the form as 1995, for example. Problem which software developers did not anticipate, did not foresee, was the year 2000, known as Y2K. Well, except for my wife here and a few other software designers, she had 4 digits, which was seen by most in the computer industry as wasteful, but she developed software with 4 digits for the year, and as a result, Y2K came and went and wasn't even an issue for any software she had designed or that were designed under her. It came and went because of a frantic effort to rewrite the software that occurred in 1998 and 1999. I found this book on Y2K Home Preparation Guide. I bought it in the year 2000. It was 20% off. And it's still useful. Now, why don't we anticipate and plan for catastrophes, black swans, remote contingencies, well, dull disasters, how planning ahead will make a difference? This book. I'll quote from page 21. A politician probably will not get credit for pushing good preparation plans and investments. Plus, such planning demands more effort, greater cost, for little immediate gain. Why should a politician invest in a sensible system to reduce risks and enable a quick response to, let's say, wildfires, if the political benefits from such a system are likely to be reaped by other politicians, like that politician's political successor? Well, guess what? We got another catastrophe coming, and it's coming with a certainty. It's called 32-bit architecture. And Y2K38. Our computers generally use 32-bit chips for most tasks, other than your precious laptop and the more recent cell phones that have been come out in the last couple of years, which use 64-bit chips. So for many years, corporate and business world thought 32 bits was enough. So computers began counting from January 1st, 1970. This is a Unix system. And the origin of this problem comes from binary counting. For example, 101 is the same as 5. The first one is a 4. Second 2 is a 0. and then the 1 is a 1. So that's 5. 110 is 6, 111 is 7, and so on. You would think 32 binary fields are infinite, 32-bit are infinite, but they're not. The limit is when they all fill up with 1s, then they roll back to 0, or the system quits working. When will this happen? For all 32-bit systems, pretty much, it's going to happen on January 19th, 2038. That's like the end of the computer world. If the computer is like all others, it will either go to all zeros or roll back to December 13th, 1901. The Unix timestamp was and is the source of the problem. 32-bit chips are everywhere. Anything that has the 32-bit chip in it is vulnerable. There's 5 of them in your car at least, by my count, including the one in the anti-lock braking system. Understand, 32-bit chips don't just keep track of time and date. They also keep track of things like time differentials. And your anti-lock brakes will break at different points in time, a second or two apart. There's got to be a 32-bit chip to keep track of that. Your refrigerator, it's got a defrost cycle, even if it doesn't have a clock. Stove, oven, microwave, televisions, flat screens, calculators, insulin pumps, medical devices, clocks. Now your home has at least 3 utility meters in it. The electric meter, the water meter, the gas meter. They all keep track of time. They all count. Satellite dishes, VCR, printers, copiers, and your security system. Anything else? Well, before January 1st, 2038, you have to replace all the 32-bit computer chips in your home, at work, in the government, and the military. But right now, everything except your precious laptop and possibly your telephone, cell phone, are made with 32-bit chips. How will you know if your home is 32-bit compliant, and how will you know if you're safe? Well, okay. First of all, you probably don't believe me. So, if your phone is more than a couple years old, or if it's got a 32-bit chip in it, let's do a little test. Your cell phone probably has a 32-bit chip. Find the settings on it and click it. Find time and date. Now, under my cell phone, it's on general management. Turn off the automatic dates. And when this little exercise is done, go back and turn it back on, because the automatic dates will work up through 2037. So right now, turn it off. Then select set date, and the current monthly calendar will appear. Now let's scroll forward by months until you come to December 37. Then try to scroll forward, and you'll find it no longer works, because that's the limit of your 32-bit chips. You've come to the end of time. You've come to Y2K38. This is called, in some circles, the apocalypse. It happens when 32-bit fields fill up. You'll either roll over to zeros and start over in December 13th, 1901, or it might freeze up and cease working altogether. Satellite systems have 32-bit chips in them, probably. And they'll lose functionality just like anti-lock brakes. So how do you fix it? Discard your current cell phone? They're all like that. Well, almost all. I came across an article called "What Kind of OS Does Your Android Phone Have?" So there's the article, printed it out. Turns out that even many of the 64-bit chip cell phones have 32-bit operating systems and have the same flaw. So just because you got a 64-bit system chip doesn't mean it's going to work. Quick fix is a knowledge of perpetual calendars. There are only 14 possible calendar patterns. The day, the month that January begins on, and whether or not it's a leap year. So there's 14 of them. Calendar 1 begins on January 1st on a Sunday. Calendar 2 begins on a Monday. And then leap years, if it begins on a Sunday, it's calendar pattern 8, 9, and so on. It's a 28-year pattern that repeats every 28 years. Hence, the 2010 calendar is repeated in 2038. The pattern that we're currently in began in 2017. There it is. Now, cell phones are easy. The rest of embedded cell phones, and the rest of embedded 32-bit chips, not so much. Now, what you can do is when it comes to 2037 is go back and reset your phone to 2010, which is the same as 2038. But do you have any idea how to program your stove clock? Do you have any idea how to replace a 32-bit chip with a 64-bit chip? And how will you fix an anti-lock braking system? You know, the 32-bit chips, I know they're in our submarines. At least they're in the mess hall, in the microwaves, in the submarines. And they'll quit working, no matter where you are. The answer is to start now with literally billions of 32-bit chips and operating systems in America alone. Replacement will take time. This isn't a software problem of Y2K. Every piece of hardware with 32-bit chips will need to be replaced. Now there is a quick fix. Linux 510 came out with something that resets the timestamp on Unix systems to 2486. Will be good through then. So you can search that. Automobiles have about 5 32-bit chips in them. They'll quit working, or the dates will be wrong. Now, a safe vehicle is one manufactured before 1975, before chips were being used in our cars. Now, we can't wait until 2037 or 2038 to fix this problem. It'll be too late. There's billions of them. It'll take a while to replace all the chips. They're aware of the problem, quietly fixing it without telling us, but consumers need to know. We need to replace all the 32-bit chips in our homes or get the Linux system installed, and like you know how to do that. So, the policy, that if you apply catastrophic thinking, the policy is to ban all 32-bit chips for the manufacture, sale, or importation now. Label all products as 64-bit compliant, such as a pacemaker 64. Do you have any 32-bit chips in you? I know I do. Schedule your surgery now. Electric vehicles, ironically, have 32-bit chips in them and will be unsafe to drive in 2038 if they work at all. This is an essential concept. Y2K38 needs to be anticipated and planned, and legislation needs to be adopted because it's certain to happen. Y2K38, 2038 will come around on the calendar. This YouTube channel, Caveat Mind, and the website, Catastrophic Thinking, are dedicated to bring essential concepts to you, and I'll be bringing them to you in the coming weeks. The foundation of catastrophic thinking are essential concepts. Please support my efforts. Give credit. There's my credit information. And I'll end every video the same way, with a prayer for peace. Thank you.